Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Majette Monster Mash, taking place on Saturday, October 30th. We're down here at the Majette Disc Golf Course. We've got round one, front nine action. We've got a great card for you. This is a PDGA B tier, taking place down here at Majette, as I said. Hole one, kicking off with Kevin Kiefer the third. Kevin coming into the tournament, rated 1,012. This is Evan Gurthie. Of course, one of the many Gurthie boys that we see in Florida that we've come to know throughout the last few decades. Evan comes in here with a 993 rating. And this is Tate Krampitz. Tate enters with a 975 rating. I've learned that Tate is somewhat of a Midwestern descent. Comes from the Minnesota area. Grew up with Kaposia in his backyard. Incredible course. And now he finds himself down here in Florida. And of course, Matty O. 1,042 rated Matty O at the start of this tournament. And because this was October, late October, Matty O, of course, sponsored by Prodigy still at the time. Spoiler alert, he is now sponsored by Westside, which you'll see in the 2022 campaign and beyond. Well, and if you haven't noticed, there's some wind. That's exactly what Evan is contemplating here as he's throwing into a headwind on the par 4 opening hole. It's a little more old school style disc golf tournament. We're going to play 2 rounds, all on a Saturday. 2 rounds, as that one almost goes in, but stays inbounds there. We're going to have a morning round and an afternoon round of shotgun start. I know some of you are newer viewers, but that's the way most disc golf tournaments used to be played. This course also comes in at 7,100 feet, so not necessarily the length that we see by a lot of our bigger Elite Series events, as that one just leaks out of bounds. We're up here in the Bay County Disc Golf Club area. A little bit chilly on early Saturday morning. So Tate will get to bring it back in inbounds with the penalty stroke. This is to save the par. Evan, who's next to act, is also trying to save his par. This comes in as a par 61 course. We have 1 par 5 out there on hole number 10.
Yeah, the front night's pretty incredible because there's no wind. And then you get to this back nine holes and it's wide open. It's either easy or...
And Matty O pretty close to the basket. A little bit of a obstruction just past the pin. Trying to collect his first birdie of the round and of the tournament. Of course, no problems.
It's cool. It is. I think it's smaller than the actual circle.
Hole 1 saw plenty of birdies. Relatively small sample size in the pro division in terms of how many competitors, but it did average 3.5 for the day. Or correction, for at least the first round.
A few holes, actually. There's one.
We ultimately have 10 open players. Big shout out to Dynamic Disc. So with the birdie, Kevin keeps the honors. Hole 2, 456 feet. No problems with the water carry here. You can hear the wind. You can also see it on the pond there as it looks like it's blowing a little bit from left to right, almost a direct headwind with a little left to right slant to it. No problems. Off on the left side there for Gurthie. And here's Tate. And that turned over and just kept going. What you were seeing there as they were throwing next to it or over it was actually a shorter pin position. And quite the unforced air there by Kevin. Not something you would expect. He had a lot of room to play with and still find himself hitting a tree directly in front of him.
Bring it up.
This is Kevin to save the par. Tate knew it right out of his hand, just not enough. And just like that, Kevin will negate the birdie he picked up on one. Evan also in for the bogey, and the bogey for Tate. And Matty O is going to pick up a stroke on the card just by walking away with the par. They're going to head over to hole 3, talking football.
Say I wouldn't came here, but that was a big par, but right?
Hole 3 relatively easy at 279 feet. Kevin asking for that to sit, and that's the danger that is found here. Just deep of the pin, the OB water. Taking it out much wider. We see Evan swinging it all the way back, and just too much air carry. He also is going to be out of bounds. Now both in a position where we'll see if they're close enough to try and save the par.
Come on, push.
After confirming his spot, he's going to make a quick retrieval. I think the ultimate
Thanks, sir.
testament or maybe commercial that I'd love to see for the quick sticks. I know they're great to retrieve like this. That's, I think, what they're made for. I'd like to see a little high ropes, tight rope walking, and then using that as the balance stick. I'm sure there's more technical terms for everything I was just trying to say, but that's what I'd love to see. I think that would be the ultimate commercial. Using your quick stick as you're trying to walk across the Grand Canyon or something on a tightrope. And if you're wondering what in the world I'm talking about, I wonder that too sometimes. Here's, wow, and a rocket launched at it. Evan saves the par on 3. What a great putt. Here's Matty O trying to pick up his second birdie of the round. Matty O converts. We'll see if that can settle Tate in a little bit after the back-to-back bogeys on 1 and 2. And Kevin also picking up bogeys on 2 and 3. So he goes to 1 over par. Big shout out, as I said, Cool Daddy, Slick Breeze, Disc Golf Answer Man, Bobby Brown out there working the catch cam. Not necessarily something he's used to doing, but certainly appreciate the extra hand. And my buddy Dustin had flown down to the event. I personally was working with the NADGT this weekend, which was the only reason I didn't remain in Florida and wasn't on site for this event. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you so much. Here's Evan. Trying to keep it out of the bush, he said. 564 feet for the par 4. And that one finding little cabbage. Let's see if Kevin can get past it. He does with the roll. Maybe even good footing on top of it. A little bit of info and research told me that this course was originally designed by Dave Montine and Webb Warren. They were a huge part of the course design, and then a few years ago when Hurricane Michael came through, it destroyed the course and then ultimately was redesigned yet again. That is great touch displayed there by Tate. And yes, I certainly realize it can throw you off a little bit when sometimes you see a basket and then they're lining up for an entirely different shot rather than putting at the basket that's maybe even in screen or in frame. Here's Evan. That felt like it should have stayed. So that's a question I'd love to pose to you guys. You know that I often team up with the likes of Double G Jerky, give some of that away. Sometimes I give away custom stamped Disc Golf Guy discs. Whatever the case is, I've got stuff to give away. But what I need you to do is comment and let me know, does your local course have multiple baskets that are left in? I feel like that's a growing trend. More people are kind of planning for it, so you don't have to move baskets as frequently. If somehow your municipality or your private or public course can afford it, I think we're seeing more and more of that where they're being left in. And then maybe even question 2 to that, or question 2A is, would you like it? Do you like it? If they are or aren't there, would you like them to be there? Or do you feel like they'd maybe be a little bit too confusing and or distracting? So that's what I need you to put in the comment section. That will make you eligible to have some kind of giveaway, whether it's a disc or a shirt or some jerky. I'll make sure to give something away after I randomly pick from someone that's commented. And here's Matty O. He's 3 under through 4 and on the dance floor here on 5. And even closer to the punch bowl. Great shot by Kevin.
Daredevil. What? You daredevil. Look at this guy.
And Evan just launching it, playing the spike. So 3 shots, all looking for birdies. And Tate follow it. That looks like it'll work. Feels like Tate has been a little bit on the struggle bus here. This is Evan for birdie on 5. Smooth and confident. Certainly not backing down after the last putt he had. Looked like it was in and somehow came back out at him. Sometimes the basket just doesn't do what it's supposed to. I know it's unfortunate, but it does happen. Here's Matty O trying to go 4 under through the first 5. Stabs it in there, no problem. Tate has some work to do coming back. That one right side and flops out. He's going to turn the birdie look into the bogey as Kevin taps in. Unfortunately, that's going to push him to 3 over as we head over to hole number 6. If you need any discs shipped, your best bet is to ship them in a reusable cardboard box designed just for disc golf shipping. Reach out to me, and I will set you up with a set as a product that I helped develop after shipping tens of thousands of discs throughout the years. Super happy to be using my disc in a box shippers. Happy to have created them so that our disc golf community can safely and securely ship your discs around. I was going to say 276 or, well, pretty much exactly what Kevin just did. And also sticking the landing. Great shot by Evan. Of course, big shout out to your TDs and co-TDs and sponsors, Brent Gann, along with Tyler Searle. Those guys had reached out looking for a little bit of coverage as Matty O is just off the front cage. Bruce Koep over at Koep Corp. Thank you for being the presenting sponsor. I read a few reviews and everybody just said Bruce is the man, so unless I'm told otherwise, I'm going to go with that. And Tate just really struggling here. I'm sure the wind is not helping and the putter is just off a little bit. And of course, it feels like it just gets magnified Then you're probably a little bit frustrated. And then you know there's one or two guys walking around following you the whole time. All just so that we can watch it on YouTube. So Tate, I know you rated 975, so clearly I know you've got some better game in you, and we'll see if things calm down a little bit as we move into the latter 2/3 of the round. A couple birdies picked up by Evan and Kevin. And Matty O is going to have to, well, he's going to have to be okay with a par. I don't think he has a choice at this point. I don't think that's really something you can contest. We head over Kevin, hole number 7. The double Mando off the tee. Very close off the tee, as you saw. Just 282 feet.
Yeah, Evan.
That'll certainly work. We'll see if he's at all protected there by a little bit of the shrubbery or just the lower section of the dune, so to speak. Oh, and if it would just sat right where it came to rest, or initially came down, would have been so much better. But a little tester there for Matty O. Really interesting to see 2 different shots land in a similar spot, but then continue to roll just a few feet. A little more than normal, I guess is what I was trying to say. See if Evan can pick up another one. Kevin fully extended to the right side here.
Oh, Kevin, come on now.
I feel like you give him 2 or 3 more of those and he's going to make them. Less than 20 feet or so for Matty O. And picks up his 5th birdie in 7 holes. Off to a great start. He had quite an advantage, at least on paper, when you're looking at his rating. I think he was about 30 points clear of Kevin.
Matt or Matty O? I'll take anything, man. Matthew, I'll take anything. Matthew. I'll take all the above. That's what I'm saying.
It's not an Auburn fan?
What's that?
I mean, they don't call you an Auburn fan?
Yeah, the worst would be Tennessee.
There you go. We got that in common.
All right. He says you can call him just about anything, except for a Tennessee fan. Matty O, always entertaining. I go all the way back to the late 90s, early 2000s with the likes of Matty O. This is a hilarious human, and looking forward to seeing him more out on the tour in 2022. Hole 8, a par 4 at 624 feet.
Oh. Get down.
Decent distance, but the footing might be a little bit awkward.
Smokes. Live.
And no shortage of height here for Evan.
That was interesting.
He calls it interesting. Nice. Line drive.
I like them moves.
Bobby Brown on his toes. Getting out of the way. Love it.
Be stable. Be stable.
Work back. Work back.
And certainly not enough stability what Evan was hoping for there. And this one's gonna briefly flirt. Oh, and it skips like a rock. Like a flat rock, that is. Skipping right off the pond. Does it get up and in? And it does. He gets the green flag. Looks like it just barely cleared. Couple skips off the water to get him there, and Matty O.
Nice shot.
A little bit deep, but that should work. And it sounded hard when it hit. That's the best flag to get, a green one. So he'll have a look at birdie. Evan trying to save the par from way back, but likely a bogey in store for him. Now we'll see if Kevin can take advantage of the skip shot off the water. There it is, Tate. Well executed 3 here on hole 8. Matty O with a little left to right. Great birdie for Matty O. That is his 6th birdie in the first 8 holes. That's about 75% birdie rate, folks. And I did that math on my own. I didn't even look it up. Evan picks up the bogey, moves back to even, and Kevin will walk away with a par. So Matty O is off to an incredible start here. Huge shout out to Dynamic yet again. Now 243 feet, hole 9. We're going to start closing out the front 9. Thank you guys for joining. As I said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, but then also make sure you comment. Question I asked earlier about if your course has multiple baskets on the same hole, and if it does or doesn't, whether you would or do or don't like that concept. I know that's a lot of questions to ask. It's going to be out of bounds for Tate. You know, Kevin can close out his front 9 and oh. No surprise, another spike. And an effective one at that. Great shot by Evan. Kevin had gone out of bounds. Gives him a long look at saving the par. Really tough to be aggressive here. Just knowing the fall off that's right behind the basket. So anything that's up in the air clearly has a chance to get up and roll away from you. We're going to have the back 9 of round number 1 coming at you guys. It'll just be a click away. Also, of course, we'll have the conclusion in round number 2, front and back. All right here on the Disc Golf Guy channel. Again, big shout out to the club, along with our presenting sponsor. Glad to be bringing you action from Panama City, Florida. And Tate. A little bit of struggle. He's going to walk away with the double bogey. Finish out the front 9 at 6 over. Matty O with the tap in. And that's all we have for the front 9. So again, just a click away. Thanks for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much to all my Patreon subscribers. Again, coverage like this wouldn't be possible without your help as well. We'll see you guys for the back 9.